Boy, you already know what today is. I ain't gotta tell you, but sir, it's Update Monday! What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing Monday. The reason why our Mondays are just so amazing is because despite what people think, any day can be an amazing day if you put your mind to it. I hope that you do the same. Speaking of such, I gotta count by twos because it's been 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 weeks of kicking rheumatoid arthritis' ass. That's right, big dog. It's been 4.5 months. And one thing that I've started to notice is that since we're going back into the winter when my RA started to flare up, I've been noticing some changes. And I don't necessarily mean changes within my body myself, because last year I was so occupied with just fighting off pain, I didn't notice that a lot of people just go through yearly pain around this time of the year. These late fall and winter months can be especially cruel. I have to say that if you guys need someone to reach out to, I have an amazing Discord. They are awesome if you just want somebody to talk to, whether it be Yu-Gi-Oh, anime, almost whatever. But if it's something a little more serious, then seek professional help or confide into a close friend or family member. And of course, as busy as I am, I like to drop by when I can. So don't think I'm just like, yo, go talk to them. Of course, I will talk when I get the chance, and we normally do have a lot of fun. And just like how I said at the beginning, how you can change how your Mondays are, because people normally think that Monday is a bad day, you can change your perspective during these winter times. I know it's hard, but it's very, very doable. Just like how Konami just found a way to change this Yu-Gi-Oh meta. That's right, we are feeling the full impact of Burst of Destiny, and soon enough, we'll be feeling Brothers of Legends 2, giving some of those crucial reprints. These decks have completely changed the landscape of the meta, and I feel are the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's right, a serious change in Yu-Gi-Oh! Has happened, and now we are dealing with a completely new meta. So without further ado, let's jump on in so we could talk about these strategies. Now, normally, when there's a type of meta change, it's typically pioneered by a new strategy that just tends to run the format. This has a dripple effect. Dripple effect? Is dripple even a real word? Who knows? That affects the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game and forces people to play different decks. I feel like that particular strategy that is currently really shifting the meta is Sword Soul. Now, Sword Soul is the new kid on the block making his debut from Burst of Destiny, and it's a really good strategy. You have the ability to make 1-card synchro summons, or essentially 1-card synchro summons, through your normal summon of Moi and Taie. Those two monsters allowing you to reveal or banish a Sword Soul or Worm card respectively can get you into Shishao, but what's more important, Shishao provides a search card and a negate, while Moi and Taie provide an additional draw or a Foolish Burial. Sword Soul doesn't have some grand ambition to just take over the board by summoning menacing monsters that your opponent can't beat. Kind of, because Shishao can be easily partnered up with a Baron de Fleur or an Adamantipator Dragon Recite. Those aren't necessarily the keys to the deck winning. What the strategy propels best at is being able to still stay in the game almost no matter what. Since the deck does have 1-card synchro summons and has access not only to the Tinye engine, like Vashuda to help them get rid of some of those problematic cards, they can also synchro summon into Boxia, which gets rid of cards and allows them to special summon monsters to their side of the field. Sword Soul is also a fairly devastating strategy is because you can play it in different ways. Sword Soul Virtual World is very much a thing. Being able to make your busted Virtual World boards then follow up with Sword Soul cards is pretty scary. But then there's pure Sword Soul. There's Sword Soul with the Destiny Hero engine, which I like drawing 2 cards and special summoning free monsters. And my personal favorite right now is a trap-based build or the Tinye build because it allows you to genuinely play like either Zodiacs or just have all of the answers when you're answering to an opponent's board. One thing I do really like is that while Sword Soul may have came and changed our Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, it hasn't become the ultra dominant tier 0 deck some players thought it would be, and has just allowed so many other decks to compete, which is why we even have a list today. Now, in order to combat the Sword Soul strategy, players needed a counter strategy to be able to stop the decks consistently, being able to negate the monster's effect, but also being able to have an aspect to shut down not only the Sword Soul strategy, but other opposing decks. Enter Phantom Knight is one of the best strategies in Yu-Gi-Oh! And has definitely changed its status from zero to hero over the matter of, I don't know, a burst of Destiny release. Phantom Knights are extremely scary because the same hand traps that could be used to counter Sword Soul, like Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler, aren't as useful against Phantom Knights. That and it's able to search cards like Phantom Knight's Fog Blade, which is a card that can negate Sword Soul monsters' effects like Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler, but is searchable. The deck is also really good at making some terribly powerful boards. One that's really popular is being able to make your Fog Blade set, but more importantly, having your Destiny hero destroy your Phoenix Enforcer, as well as Artifact Dagda, which will set an Artifact Scythe to your side of the field. How this works is that you can destroy Artifact Scythe on your opponent's turn, special summoning Scythe to the side of the field, preventing your opponent from going into the extra deck. This is huge, as not only can the Phantom Knight strategy stop some of the monster effects you were probably using to advance forward without the use of your extra deck, you now still can't use your extra deck because of the Scythe lock. Phantom Knights are also ridiculously insane at being able to recover, as your Phantom Knight trap cards allow you to special summon Phantom Knight monsters to your side of the field, and your Phantom Knight monsters all have graveyard effects, meaning that after you link or exceed with them, you can still gain some more additional effects to allow you to extend forward. Phantom Knights are easily a top contender Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck because the combos are fairly easy to make, only needing level 3 monsters to your side of the field, but also its ability to be able to play in those later stages of the game just like Sword Soul, and having the ability to search critical monster effect negations so it can keep up with some of the top tier strategies. Ironically, a strategy that has a pretty decent Sword Soul matchup and can counter Phantom Knights fairly hard is a strategy that everyone likes. Do you like your graveyard? Oh, no. You mean our graveyard. As Invoked is definitely a strategy that's read a couple of things about Marxism, it's also one of the strategies that players love to play inside of a format where players love to special summon and use their extra deck quite well. The baseline of the Invoked strategy is to normal summon Alistair and then make Mechaba. Mechaba is turnip. You like turnip, so we can turn up. And I swear at the end of the day, if you try to stop Alistair the Invoker, you may just wind up drinking way too much vodka, as every time you have the answer for Alistair, they have the invocation in hand. You stop the magical meltdown, well, they had the Alistair anyways. You stop all 3 of them? Well, I mean, I guess the deck can play the other cards that it wanted to play. The Dogmatika engine is fairly popular inside of the Invoke strategy, and is extremely good for the deck. Dogmatika Fleur de Lis serves as the main centerpiece that would Nadir serve and allow you to search any of your Dogmatika cards from your deck to your hand, and boy, you got some pretty good spice. Especially seeing that Nadir Servant can send cards like Ash Titanclad, which will allow you to get a Fleur de Lis, or being able to search Maximus from your deck to your hand, more on that later, but can also send an El Shaddoll Apkallone, which will allow you to add Shaddoll cards like Beast or Ariel to your hand to be able to draw cards or disrupt your opponent, or it can search Shaddoll Schism, which is a whole different entire headache. The playlines of this deck are just completely incredible. While that Fleur de Lis does allow you to negate a monster effect non-targeting, may I add, the Maximus is the true contender and can really disrupt some of the top meta strategies. Not only does it force your opponent to send cards from their extra deck to the graveyard, you can send cards like El Shaddoll Apkallone and Titanclad from your deck to the graveyard and gain their effects. And the biggest reason why this strategy is just such a threat to a lot of the top tier decks is because after all of this, you can still make an El Shaddoll window, which prevents players from special summoning more than once. After we're sharing graveyards, I don't need to special summon too many times, just once per turn. How about you? You need to special summon more than once, huh? Well, sorry. It's our special summon. The Invoke strategy is genuinely one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because of how it pilots against some of the top decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not only being able to make a satisfactory board to be able to stop them, but also does really well with breaking the opponent's board. Now, because of the evolution of the decks around it, Tri-Brigade either had to get better or go home. Tri-Brigades actually did evolve into becoming more of an engine inside of the Lyrilusc strategy that got a ton of support from legendary duelist Synchro Storm. What Lyrilusc has provided for Tri-Brigade is versatility and being able to make some very strong disruptions, while Tri-Brigade serves more as a secondary engine in case the Lyros gets stopped. Some of your strongest monsters for Lyrilusc is SM Blue Robin, which allows you to bounce a monster to the hand when your opponent special summons to the side of the field. Then there's Lyrilusc Bird Call, which is essentially a reinforcement of the army or a foolish burial for the strategy, but it follows up by allowing you to special summon a Lyrilusc monster from your hand different than the one you searched. This puts a ton of winged beast monsters in the graveyard where you know your Tri-Brigade monsters can thrive, banishing them to help you break boards by special summoning monsters like Tri-Brigade Charade because of its non-targeting banishing. And guess what happens when Charade gets to the graveyard? It allows you to search more Lyrilusc cards from your deck to your hand. And since the deck can summon level 1 monsters with ease, meaning that the rank 1 Lyrilusc monsters are fairly easy to summon, being able to make a Divine Arsenal AA Zeus to be able to wipe your opponent's board, or a Utopic Draco Future to be able to negate your opponent's monster effects is really just a couple of cards away. Lyrilusc is easily one of the better strategies in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it produces some of the best in-boards consisting of Essen Blue, Utopic Draco Future, and Apex Avian special summon through your Samorg. It's definitely a strategy that if you don't respect, it will end the game fairly quickly. And that is all that I have for how the meta has changed. We have came a long way from Tri-Brigade, Virtual World, and Drytron, as those decks are still really powerful, but these decks seem to be taking the forefront of the meta. It's really exciting to see all of these competitive decks in the current Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, but I thought it would be best if you know what were the decks that you're probably going to see inside of the top cut a lot more than you think. And as you know, I will be streaming today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch. If you want to go ahead and catch non-PG Cali, go ahead and check me out. But if you want to stay PG and check out more content, go ahead and check out these videos, as I'll catch you on the next one.